Thank you for joining us for a walkthrough of the Quid Pro Quo marketplace on the Gajumaru blockchain. Quid Pro Quo is a platform for enabling trade between people and businesses without the burden of controlling profit-seeking intermediation. Quid Pro Quo is a world first, an on-chain marketplace that uses dynamic smart contracts between counterparties to govern their transaction, rather than relying upon intermediation by a third party. The Gajumaru is a new blockchain that has been built with the express purpose of creating a unifying resource layer that allows blockchain technology to reach its potential as an economic transformer. To do that, it addresses four critical missing elements that have left the existing blockchain protocols as fractured islands with high friction connections between them that invite domination by intermediaries, precisely what blockchain was supposed to remove our dependency upon. The first of these is Groot, the core of the Gajumaru. Everything you will see in this walkthrough is uniquely made possible by the Gajumaru and is running on this core base network. Groot is a non-corruptible, censorship-resistant, open-source, proof-of-work blockchain protocol that provides programmatic consensus for all operations. Open to all, controlled by none, a critical feature for a global resource layer. Groot is extremely fast, very low cost, trustless in operation. A fully fledged blockchain in its own right, capable of handling any transaction handed to it. We can now truly say that we can trust the message rather than the messenger securely at scale. However, Groot's true purpose is twofold. The first is to mint the Gaju, the native currency of the Gajumaru, which we will come to next. The second purpose, and the answer to why this is a resource for the whole world, is to enable complete network interoperability and facilitate value transfers amongst the universe of blockchains that it makes possible, the backbone for global economic infrastructure to work. Next, we have the Gaju. The Gaju is a non-debasable, non-corruptible, censorship-resistant cryptocurrency that establishes a common native currency for the Gajumaru. It does so by implementing the Bitcoin Next Generation protocol. The Gaju is a currency that delivers high-speed, secure, efficient value transfer in real-world use, as we are about to see. Think Bitcoin evolved, or more correctly, Bitcoin Next Generation. Thousands of times faster and more efficient. Everything that Bitcoin once promised to be made real. Real money. That is, money based upon a finite resource that can be proven, whose extraction has value, for example, gold or a cryptographic puzzle. Not debasable, not censorable, tradable between peers without intermediation, as this demonstration will show. Thirdly, we have customizable, interoperable infrastructure that we call associate chains linking to the core, Groot. Associate chains operate independently while interacting through this shared resource layer, allowing specific needs to be met by specific infrastructural solutions, including national and regulatory boundaries. Associate chains are not a layer 2. They are aware of Groot, and Groot is aware of them. The object of Groot is not to validate their operation, but to facilitate their operation with one another. As composable infrastructure, they allow solutions to be customized to requirements rather than the current blockchain practice of shoehorning requirements to fit prescriptive solutions. This also allows something like Quid Pro Quo to grow and evolve. Quid Pro Quo may well evolve far beyond the capabilities of Groot and require its own associate chain to function as effectively as possible, whilst remaining natively interconnected with the rest of the network through the core. Indeed, it may require multiple associate chains within that associate chain to facilitate national systems and varying regulatory boundaries for trade. In fact, so important is this aspect, it is why we named the blockchain the Gajumaru. The Gajumaru is a Japanese tree that grows in the same way that our blockchain grows. There is a core that enables a universe of infrastructure to evolve organically from it. Fully mature, a single Gajumaru resembles a forest, an excellent metaphor for our solution. Finally, but by no means least, we have utilized Sophia and FATE. Sophia is the secure, enterprise-friendly, native smart contract language utilizing efficient FATE virtual machines, both designed by world-class engineers of global repute. These provide the operating tools for the entire system. We will see these in action during this walkthrough. Ethereum and its core innovation Solidity was a great proof of concept for smart contracts, but its inadequacies are irreparable and its use by enterprise or government dangerous. Sophia resolved these issues whilst retaining adoptability by Python-trained engineers, removing another bottleneck, the number of people conversant in the language of smart contracts. Now that we have covered how the Quid Pro Quo marketplace can operate at all, we can move on to looking at the walkthrough and the demonstration of its utility. We start with Alice, a goat soap producer from El Salvador. She plans to sell her goat soap on the Quid Pro Quo marketplace to the world. Alice has a Gajumaru wallet with multiple accounts. Alice can see her total balance of 2,000 Gajus. She selects the account she wants to use with the Quid Pro Quo marketplace. To log in to Quid Pro Quo, Alice only needs her Gajumaru wallet. No site account is required. This is thanks to Grids, a universal, secure login mechanism that removes the need for third parties. What does that mean? Well, imagine logging into a website you have never been to before without a username, password, or any private data exposed to the site. As a website provider, imagine not needing to comply with GDPR. The login action provides a QR code and a Grids URL for external wallet authentication. Fast, easy, secure. Grids is fundamental to the Internet of Economics, establishing a distinct transactional protocol from the Internet of Data where we find the information that leads to our transactional choices. Your data is now yours. Your assets can now be yours. Your money, Gajus, can also now be yours. In this case, Alice is using our desktop wallet, Clutch. She simply copies and pastes the URL directly into her wallet using the Grids URL link in the wallet. Using our mobile wallet, Arbora, on a smartphone, Alice would scan the QR code and have the same effect, opening her wallet for her. The wallet reads the URL and translates it into a retrieval instruction. The wallet retrieves a random message from Quid Pro Quo's backend, asking Alice to sign it to prove her identity. Alice signs the message, and the signature is verified by Quid Pro Quo, confirming her identity. When Alice clicked OK, the message was signed and the signature was submitted to the Quid Pro Quo system, which then verified that she owns the public key that was presented. Alice is now securely logged into the marketplace. Alice is a new user, so Quid Pro Quo creates a new user profile for her to complete. Alice customizes her profile to help her sell her wares. Thanks to grids, she always has secure access to her account without needing any logins or passwords. Alice's profile is ready. She is ready to start selling her goods or services, in this case, the goat soap that she produces. She clicks the Sell button to proceed to initiate a sale. The sale item creation page is simple to use and navigate. Alice produces goat milk soap and provides a detailed description of what she is selling with keywords to aid searches so that buyers looking for specialist soaps will find her offer. She sets a price here of 22.95 Gajus per item. In future, she will also be able to create an auction listing. Alice fills in the details for the item she wants to sell and submits it to the system. The back-end system optimizes and sanitizes the images she has provided, taking a few moments to process them. Once they are processed, they will appear, but Alice can continue to move through the steps to listing her sale. The system processes the images and the offering is now ready for Alice to make. To do this, she must first post the sale contract to the Gajumaru blockchain and await site administrator approval. This moderation function is the only external function in the system, there to ensure this is no Silk Road, but instead the basis for a future economy of goods and services on-chain. Posting the sale contract to the Gajumaru blockchain requires a contract call to the chain, which the Quid Pro Quo backend has formed for Alice to sign. Alice is therefore taken to another grids page, this time with a contract call in its contents instead of a login message. This is the first step in the creation of the smart contract that will govern the transaction between the parties, removing the need for third-party intermediation and greatly reducing the cost to suppliers relative to using services like Amazon, eBay, Etsy, or Shopify. The transaction data is now in Alice's wallet, awaiting her approval to sign and submit back to the Quid Pro Quo platform. Once submitted, we immediately see that the sale item changes status to open and provides a unique contract ID, the address of the sale contract on-chain. The system has paused the transaction for moderator approval as indicated at the top. Alice's user page shows her unreviewed sale item, a goat milk soap bar set for 22.95 Gajus. Now we switch to the Quid Pro Quo moderator screen. We see it showing Alice's unreviewed sale item in the queue for review. Switching back to Alice's view, we can see the approved message and that the item is now live on the site and available for purchase. Enter Bob, also known as Robert the Stinky, who needs some soap that won't hurt his sensitive skin. You'll note that we see his wallet on the right-hand side of this screen. Bob's search for goat soap as a cure for his sensitive skin leads him to Alice's wonderful goat soaps. At 22.95 Gajus, they seem to be a great price to Bob, who decides to buy some. At the bottom of the screen, there is a big, friendly Buy button. Bob clicks on this to initiate the transaction. Bidding on an item requires Bob to place money from his account into his sale account on the Gajumaru blockchain. Gajumaru wallets operate in the secure enclave of your device, so the money cannot be received by the seller until the two have agreed to the sale, completed negotiating the smart contract between them, and reached a final binding agreement. Bob's wallet tells him the details of the transaction, and he can check that the transaction data that his wallet picked up is the same as what he is shown on the site. Once the bid is submitted and processed by the chain, the status of the sale changes from open to nego, short for negotiation. If Bob has some concern about the item, its price, the shipping terms, or anything else, he can place the sale on hold at any time. In this case, for Alice and Bob to transact, a logistics solution will be required to deliver the soap from Alice to Bob. This action is enforced on-chain by the sale contract itself. Here we see that Bob is in Australia and the seller, Alice, is shipping from El Salvador. Alice looks up the shipping cost, an additional 10 Gajus, and adjusts the price to include shipping in the final price to 32.95 Gajus. We will work to bring logistics providers into the system to allow them to bid directly on the service provision, further accentuating the value of this global marketplace. Integrated, automated logistics service bidders would be a third party to the transaction and would also be governed by the smart contract. Further innovation of Quid Pro Quo's back-end systems and services will permit integrated, automated customs compliance. For now, the process relies upon manual conventions as we see here. As the price update is governed by the contract on-chain, the update to 32.95 Gajus will have to be submitted through another smart contract call. Alice has updated the price to 32.85 Gajus, and Bob's original bid is still in the contract, but it is now insufficient for the sale. Bob now needs to click Update Bid to generate a contract call that will supply the additional 10 Gajus from his wallet. The site makes Bob aware of the required transaction. Once complete, we can see the Accept Bid option appear on Alice's screen. Now that Bob has updated his bid to cover the 10 Gaju logistical cost, Alice can accept his bid and finalize the transaction. The transaction between the two is entirely created by the inputs of the parties and the Quid Pro Quo system using the Gajumaru's Sophia smart contract language. This next step requires a final contract call. It is at this point that Alice gets paid the 32.95 Gajus she contracted for. Now it is up to Alice to provide the shipping information to Bob so that he can track what is going on. Some time later, Bob receives his item and can tell Alice about it as well as give her a sale review. Trust between buyer and seller is always a complex human issue, and providing a seller rating system is important to aid people in making judgments on whom to trade with. Just as in the physical world, reputation matters, and honest appraisal by genuine buyers of a good or service are a vital tool in building that reputation. Ultimately, many retail businesses depend upon this, and this intangible asset, also known as goodwill, is what makes a business worth more than the sum of its parts. Once Bob submits his review, the sale item, including images, conversation history, and so on, is deleted, and the history of the sale becomes an archive record that keeps some important metadata about the sale. Users of the site have a sale archive and purchase history which keeps track of their purchase and sale behavior so that others can make vital trust decisions. With that, we conclude our demonstration. Thank you very much for watching. We hope that this has inspired you. Blockchain changes our world from being about control to facilitation and adding value to a common open whole. That is what Quid Pro Quo is all about, and we invite you to join with us. If you would like to know more, please get in touch via the QPQ website, qpq.swiss, or any of our social media contact points. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.